Welcome back to The Matrix. You know, I don't know what's stranger about these. The fact that these very niche underground videos have been met with such nice reception, or that I've got enough of these backed up to last us all the way to Series 13. What I'm saying is, this series has a surprising amount of legs. To all new viewers, hello, canon is a nebulous concept, and stories should just be allowed to be stories, regardless of what medium they take. Although, our first fact today is actually going to test that logic. All stories are equal, I say to myself. And then the motherfucker pulls out the Doctor Who joke book. A joke book, filled with knock-knock jokes, is a canonical text that, by my own logic, I have to respect as authentic. I'm just saying, there's some media forms of Doctor Who I don't have to recognise. The top trumps, those ratings be wrong. Adverts, promotional material, marketing talk, these things aren't necessarily trying to tell a story. Knock Knock Who's There, the Doctor Who joke book, came out just last month, and although this is clearly not designed for my demographic or should rationally offer some kind of prose story, it does. And I think that's really cool and admirable. If the Doctor Who cookbook tried to integrate itself into the verse as its own story, I'm not sure it'd be a very good cookbook, but I would be compelled to buy it, as is the curse of the Whovian. Supposedly, as part of the new Time Lord Victorious event, a t-shirt will have a core piece of lore on it, supposedly contributing to the overarching story. I'm over the moon. I don't care how garish or unwearable this thing is. I will be wearing lore. Give me your terrible shirt. Cookbooks, video games, joke books, poetry books. A Doctor Who story is a Doctor Who story. And the story of Knock Knock Who's There happens to be a narrative-based framing device in which the 13th Doctor and Yasmin Khan have been trapped inside of a joke book and are trying to get out. Meaning the day can only be saved by cheesy puns and dad jokes, featuring such favourites such as Tim Shaw, Elton Pope, and the Moxa Balhoun. Oh wow, how did they book him? To escape the joke book universe, the 13th Doctor and Yaz must find out the answer to the world's first joke. The first joke, the oldest joke in the universe, hidden in plain sight. Knock knock. Hey, oh, didn't see you there. Who's there? Doctor Who. Exactly! Get it? Like Doctor Who. From TV. Okay, that's it. You can throw the book out, throw it away. And this is what actually really solves the plot. The oldest joke is the same as the oldest ultimate question. Now, of course, why this joke would work in the Doctor Who verse itself is beyond me, and I'm ready to be a real stickler about this. Sitting here in my Ood Timelord Victorious t-shirt. If the answer to the first joke is also the answer to the first ultimate question, does that mean that another translore could be fought over this? Has 13 just ended the universe again? Oh, and these are proper Christmas cracker corkers, by the way. What's the Macra's favourite card game? Snap. What do Ice Warriors have on their toast? Marshmalade. The Master tells the Doctor they're not so different because they both have the same first name. The. I'm going on the Doctor Who wiki. Logging on. The Doctor's real name is The. The book's author, Chris Farnell, gave it a plot just so it could be catalogued in the Doctor Who TARDIS wiki, which is adorable and oddly relatable. But how will the Doctor Who fans find worth for my Doctor Who joke book if I don't date it between the events of Spyfall Part 2 and Orphan 55? So in summary, burn the book. What I'm saying is, set fire to this book. 5 stars, great read. Number 2. How many times have you heard the words, "It's Timelord Science"? Because I'd say it comes up quite a lot. Everything is Timelord Science. Somehow the Doctor managed to rid the world of every Gallifreyan, but forgot to take out their weapons of mass destruction. In the weapons of past destruction, we see that there were Gallifreyan gadgets and genocide gizmos on the black market constantly, just left around the place. So as a result, you've got time agents and Slitheen haggling for stuff they don't know how to use. But honestly, maybe if they did know how it worked, they wouldn't want it. This segment is going to be pretty big, like it deserves its own video, because I found myself down a rabbit hole. Here's what the Time Lords were packing. Well, for the most part, Time Lord weapons do exactly what we think Time Lord weapons would do. It makes you really old, or undoes you from existence entirely. Creative stuff, I know. And still pretty tame compared to some of the highest concept Dalek tech out there. The Time Lords have the Silent Song Box, the Neverwhen, the End Form, Time Torpedoes. Torpedoes that could freeze time. Kind of underwhelming. A regeneration gun, a mercy gun, guns who remembered who they shot, and the second shot would wipe out the rest of your regenerations. The Sword of Never, Xeno Prediction, Bow and Arrow of Nemesis from, frankly, whatever they were talking about in Silver Nemesis. War TARDISes, always a favourite. The Gauntlet of Rassilon, the Sash of Rassilon, the Time Gun of Rassilon, the T-Set of Rassilon, the Glock of Rassilon, and the Profane Virus of Rassilon. There's the DMAT, which the Doctor was packing in the Invasion of Time. DMAT them till they aren't and hit them where they weren't. There's the Quantum Crystallizer, which outright makes the Doctor Who verse one of the strongest. Refer to this video or, God, wow, I've made a lot of these. The Quantum Crystallizer outright removes all unfavourable outcomes. Eight and Lucy Miller found humans using one of these in a 21st century office to fend off Cybermen.
That's not fair, they have cheat codes.
The Doctor was quick to take the moral high ground, and quicker still to use it to fry the poor remaining Cybermen. They just can't catch a break. The Doctor destroyed it, ensuring that Holbert Logistics Company don't end up ruling the world. There's the Continuity Needle, a metal stick that would erase people from all history and existence when pricked. A weapon so poorly devised that if it wiped the wrong person, all of time would start to fail. Like accidentally killing an important NPC in an RPG game. A role-playing game. Good one, Sam. Currently, it rests at the bottom of the Thames. Then there were bow ships. I love bow ships, not only because of a great design, but because back in the old days of vampire hunting Time Lord yore, they were programmed with AI. AI so developed they started gaining sentience mid-battle and wanted something for their trouble. Oh, you want me to shoot this vampire? Cool, it's gonna cost ya. Man, you gotta respect the grift. Whatever technology the Time Lords didn't steal, it turns out backfired immediately in their face. Or if it didn't, it should've. Because most of these weapons just, end time. Lots of them just end the universe. Such as the Hush, living sound that stole the voices of everything it came across. There was the Cold, which they used in the War in Heaven. This was a weapon they wanted to use on Earth, where they believed the enemy was. The enemy is probably the reader. This would suck everything it came into contact with into another universe and destroy it. The Moment, mentioned at first in The End of Time. This should be its whole other point, but there's also a contradictory source that says the Doctor built the Moment in his 8th incarnation. It was like a modified DMAT, and once he got the magic key of Rassilon, he planned to erase millions from time and space. But somehow that would leave a memory of them for him to mourn. Then there was also the Pariah from the Doomwood comic. Man, they love creating sentient weapons that they can't control, huh? Hey Rassilon, do you think there's any chance we could make a big Dalek nuke, like a big bomb that doesn't gain a personality and walk off?
Thank you for your opinion.
Then there was also Shade, who is one of those incredibly complex characters that defy sensible and entertaining explanations. So, another time. Shade. Chronic tripwire. Like, this is like physical tripwire that the War Doctor used to age a Dalek ship to dust. The Ghost Cluster was also used by the Great Houses, the Time Lords. These bombs were virtual, unleashed on a model of the universe, like a tiny model, and in the real world, the victims and their descendants became less likely to have existed. It's very easy to write this high concept war, isn't it? You don't have to think about off-the-cuff sentences like that. Artron inverters were particularly nasty. These took the time traveller to every place they'd ever been simultaneously, causing instant insanity and temporal collapse so bad the Time Lords just had to erase you. And all this stuff is tame, frankly, compared to what the Daleks and the faction are up to. The Daleks had a time bomb that just rewrote history to make you a Dalek agent all along, and the faction had, get this, metaphorical big guns. Just, literally what it says, guns that are metaphorical. As well as harnessing the power of a soliloquy in Hamlet, not the first to recite Shakespeare combatively. It's hard to compare one omnipotent power beyond my comprehension to another omnipotent power beyond my comprehension, so we're just going to go to fact number 3. Who is the definitive companion of the 70s? I put to you that the real persisting 70s mainstay is Bessie. What may look like a 1954 Ford Popular is actually a high-tech supercar, although it'd be a stretch to call it popular, as I refuse to believe at any point in time this was considered as such. Get in, bitch, we're going shopping. Hey, where is Bessie? Where'd she go? And why did stories set past the Pertwee years want to dig up this exile passion project? Well, the answer is, nostalgia. But you'd have to be in pretty desperate death throes to resort to this yellow devil. Oh, and by the way, you guys think I rely on the wiki? Well, who needs that when DoctorWhoCard.co.uk has the real dirt? Literal pages of non-information. To them, to these guys, Doctor Who is the car. Bessie had an anti-theft force field, could float if dropped from a tall height. Minimum inertia hyperdrive means that the companions don't end up through the windshield. Oh, I'm sorry, Sarah Jane. That's a nasty case of whiplash. I don't know what Doctor that was. That was like all three of the first Doctors combined. I'm going to stop doing impressions. The third Doctor used Bessie for car chases, travelling to the plot, capturing enemies, but mostly dick measuring with the Brigadier. Bessie was named after Liz. It's a dimension traveller as well, surviving the Inferno world, Omega's dimension, and the Death Zone, where it technically still should be, but... Oh, hold on, Rassilon himself returned it! What? It should also be noted that at one point, Bessie was green. Then there's contradictory claims as to where she ended up. She's either in, as the Brigadier put it, in mothballs. In other accounts, the Doctor has it in the TARDIS. And the 9th Doctor was once found trying to fix it on the side of the road. A couple other Doctors rented out from time to time, but the 11th Doctor decided to pimp his ride by making her a part of the TARDIS and hitting the random setting, like it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy or something. As a result, the 11th Doctor, in the comic What He Wants, turns Bessie into a monster truck. This is incredibly in character, actually. In the late 2010s, Bessie is somehow back on Earth and not a monster truck, where the Brigadier left it in his will to Sergeant Benson. Benson became adept enough somehow to understand how she worked and how to fix her up. I wonder if she was ever fitted with Atmos. In the unit audio call to arms, she's the only car on the planet that works. And there was also that one time she was possessed by demons and started going on adventures in the British countryside. I count it. Thank you for watching! Here are all the boys. Couple girls, here are all the big boys and girls who follow and support my lovely, lovely, draining hobby. Thank you for your time. I'll see you next week.